Hi, I'm with Mazen Dalati at the ICGN Hawkamah Conference in Dubai. Mazen, welcome.
Thank you, Shane. Pleasure to be here.
So you are a graduate of the Hawkamah Director Program. Can you tell us a little bit about how it's helped you and what your experience has been?
Fantastic. Allow me, before I go there, we are here today on the ICGN Hawkamah conference. I wanted to congratulate the organizers on this fantastic engagement. We've had 2 days of corporate governance discussions, deep discussions and expertise from the panelists that has come to share the global and local experiences on what is corporate governance. And that was basically what happened to me when I joined Hawkamah. I started to learn about these events and being engaged. I come with 30 years of senior executive experience, being on the executive side, running organizations, a deep knowledge of family business because I ran family businesses here, and multinational organizations, and I sat on board. But I thought, well, I'm not certified. I sat on many boards, but what does certification mean? So Hawkamah started to appeal to me, and the Institute of Directors, when I contacted them, I went through a very, very rigorous program, the directorship program under the Institute of Directorship. Very, very tough actually, but very engaging and very enlightening. And you talk about what is the board, the responsibilities of the board, whether it is the accountability, the stewardship, the foresight, what do we need to do, how is it engaged with the executive, the protection of rights of the shareholders, the entire ecosystem of companies. So that's what Hawkamah gave to me, and I graduated in 2022, and I think set me the path to be available as well to serve on boards in the future, whether it is for the capital public companies or for family boards.
And can you give us an example of some of the stuff you've used, maybe from the course that you're now applying in your current board roles?
Very much so, because we're talking about governance and corporate governance. What does it mean? And when we talk about even whether it is a public organization or a family business, governance is the framework of ensuring setting the company is going on the right path, sometimes the straight path, but we need to pivot sometimes from time to time, but also making and ensuring the simple operations of the company. So within the governance structure, you have to look backward, you to look also at the future. So backward looking at the accountability, the goals and objectives, maximizing what needs to be delivered at the company, ensuring delivering on the strategy, but what the board and the governance needs to do to ensure the future, the purpose of the organization, the alignment around the why. Because when organizations are aligned and employees are aligned from the board all the way to the lowest level of the organization, research have shown us that it's 16 to 32% increase in performance. So all of this is within governance, protection of the strategy. Also, the legacy, the heritage of the organization is preserved as well. So this is on the way I see it on the public organizations. It becomes even more important, and that's what we looked at in Hawkamah, more important on family businesses, because the family business has the family side and the business side. What does the family has to do? What are their commitment to the business? And then how can they protect the business, but also how the business is also supporting the family. We are in every country, and here in the Gulf as well, in UAE, 70 to 80% of the GDP is through family business. So when we come into the second and third generation of the family, governance has to become stronger, because this is where you say, well, okay, how do I protect my shareholders? Not all shareholders are involved in the family business. What about those who are not involved in the family business? When it comes to family, and the family becomes bigger, governance is about setting the family meetings, the governance committee within the family, the voting rights. I mentioned succession, who is going to take the future succession. We are very young countries and very young organizations, but we're seeing on the succession planning, we're having a lot of faux pas, a lot of twisted ankles when we do that. So governance preserves the right. Governance is resilience, and governance is sustainability. I really have gotten through that with the Hawkamah program, and then I really think that every company, public or private, has to look into that very, very carefully to ensure success for the future.
And previously you were CEO for GE Healthcare in the region,
correct.
Is that correct?
President and CEO on multiple roles. I stayed with General Electric for 12 years. Every couple of years, I would say, I changed roles, and that was the rigor of GE. I went to become president and CEO for GE Healthcare in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. And also, at my last role in GE was the chief operating officer of all of the GE businesses, including aviation, oil and gas, renewable energy, power in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain, with a profit and loss of around $3.4 billion. But really, the multinational organizations have gotten early into the opportunity to say, what do we need to do to become better in profitability and revenues in this region? And then they looked at forming smaller boards as well at the joint ventures that they set up, and to ensure that they listen to the local voice. Okay, because the local voice is also the customers, what our customers need versus the customers in another region. So localization of the solutions, ensuring that we customize as well our solutions is very, very key. And that comes all from as well the governance. It's the simple and smooth operations of the organizations.
Can you give us some insight into, being a healthcare expert, what would you say are some of the changes, trends that we should be aware of from a board governance perspective within that health segment?
Everywhere I see it, whether it is in healthcare or not healthcare, it's the new word of digitalization. And it is the flow of information, the assurance that doctors can treat the patients better. It's from the, not at the diagnosis time, pre-diagnosis, right? We need to look into ensuring as well, empowering, the future is empowering the patients to make decisions during their monitoring of their disease. Chronic diseases are prevalent in the region. We're talking about diabetes, cancer, renal failure. These are terrible diseases and chronic diseases. So the patients have to be engaged in his or her own monitoring. And then comes the diagnosis, and a lot of times the patients come to doctors, they're already having the disease, right? So how do we do that and ensure that the doctor can treat the patients better? It's through flow of information, and the data has to be collected quickly, and it has to be relevant and timely, all the way as well to the post-treatment. And how do we do that from wing to wing, and then ensuring that path and the customer experience and customer and patient engagement is really the best. And we give back some of the responsibilities to the patients as well.
Those are some insights from Mazen Dalati from the ICGN Hawkamah Conference in Dubai. Thanks, Mazen.
Thank you, Shane. Pleasure.